the class. It's about to start. It takes like a few seconds before it starts. So if I ask you a question, it is that you can interact, all right?
Okay.
Apparently the recording hasn't started yet. There it is. So today is June the 16th, and this is our class of English 2 in relation to Unit 6. We are going to be moving between 6.1 and 6.2 because that is going to be our main focus. We are going to be refreshing some information that is at Navegador Académico that we must not forget. The last notification that I sent by this means is that you had to look at 2 videos before the class of today. That was your mission last week. So video number 1 was were some expressions when you go to a grocery shop, and the expressions that you have to use to ask for the price and the products in a grocery shop. In video number 2, it was about countable and uncountable nouns when it talks about shopping. And there was a worksheet that was homework for you. And also the invitation for the class of today and the video information about last Friday. So I know that we cannot share the screen like it is, like I want to, but let me try a little bit. Let me try a bit. Yes, I can. Okay, I'm going to share it, but it doesn't have audio. All right, so the idea is that you could see the videos on your own. All the information about the videos is at Aula Virtual in notifications, by the way. So what are the videos about? The first video that you could see is a video where a person says hello to another one and says the expression, can I help you? Can I help you? Or may I help you, if it is more formal, is what you say when you offer help when you are attending a shop. So you are not the customer, you are the person who is in charge of the shop. So can I help you? May I help you is the first expression we are going to be using, and I'm going to write the expressions in the chat room. Okay, so we said that the first expression is can I help you? And the formal form is may I help you? Can you see the chat room, Maximiliano?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Do you understand that this is the most common form, but this is more formal?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So there are different answers that you can have for that question. The most common is yes, please, like in the video. I know that you cannot listen to the video. That's why I am telling you, all right? Then the lady says, I would like some cheese. She says, yes, please, to the question, and then says, I would like some cheese. Oh, Maximiliano, why does she say some cheese? Is cheese? Did you do the homework, by the way? No? Okay, so if you say some, look at this, some, it is when the quantity is not specific. Some means more than one, but it doesn't say the exact number of something. When she says, I would like some cheese, she's not saying exactly how much cheese she wants, okay? Okay, so in this case, cheese, in all cases, cheese is uncountable. What does that mean? It means that when you have an uncountable noun, you cannot say 1, 2, 3 cheese. No, you have to talk about the weight, like for example, 1 kilo, 200 grams, you have to say the weight, or you have to say the I don't know, maybe a package of it, or maybe you have to express the quantity of it in grams or in packages, but you cannot say it like 1 cheese or 2 cheeses. It doesn't exist. So you don't use the plural. And the correct form, when you talk about the cheese, is to say, there is some cheese, for example, in the fridge. When you want to say that there is there is cheese in the fridge, there is a quantity, yes, like so, there is some. That means that there isn't much cheese in the fridge. There is some, there isn't much. Maximilian, are you following me? Yes, okay. When you say cheese, remember, you never say cheeses. 1 cheese, 2 cheeses. No, never, because it is uncountable. When you want to say, hay un poco de queso, you say, there is some cheese. Remember the is form. When you want to say, no hay mucho, you say, there isn't much. So when you want to say, hay harto queso, there is a lot of cheese. There is a lot of cheese. Remember, there is some cheese. Hay un poco. There isn't much cheese. No hay mucho. There is a lot of cheese. Hay harto. Okay? But if you want to ask the question, for example, ¿cuánto queso quiere? O ¿cuánto queso hay? You have to use how much, because how much is for uncountable nouns. So how much cheese would you like? ¿Cuánto queso le gustaría? Porque la señora solamente dijo, I would like some cheese. No dijo cuánto. How much cheese would you like? O si tú no estás en tu casa y quieres saber cuánto queso queda en el refrigerador, how much cheese is there? ¿Cuánto queso hay? Okay, so how much cheese is there? So there, remember, what are the important things? Number 1, cheese is uncountable. ¿Por qué es incontable? Porque es grande. Es una cosa redonda grande que tienes que cortar para poderla pesar y que se pueda distribuir. No es algo que sea pequeño. You cannot count it. You cannot say 1 cheese, 2 cheeses. Impossible. You don't use a plural. When you want to say I, you have to say there is for cheese because it's uncountable. When you want to say hay un poco, you say there is some. No hay mucho, there isn't much. Hay mucho, there is a lot. ¿Cuánto? How much? Okay, so let's go to the video again. Here we are. And then is the question, how much cheese would you like? And she says, I'd like half a kilogram. Okay, so in that case, she is given the quantity. Okay, so remember, how much cheese would you like? I'd like half a kilogram. That is what video number 1 is about, and it's got 1 minute and 50 seconds of different, or more, 2 minutes of different examples that are very useful for the test. So if you haven't watched the videos, I recommend you to do it like as soon as possible, because it was very important to watch them before the class of today. Now, this video is the one that we are going to be taking a bigger and deeper look at. This is about food, because we need to understand the difference between countables and uncountables in relation to food. In English, grains, bread, salt, and sugar are always uncountable. grains because they are too small. Salt and sugar the same. You cannot say, me da un azúcar. No, me da una cucharada de azúcar, me da un poco de azúcar, a spoon of sugar. No puede decir, me da 2 azúcares y 3 azúcares. No, you have to say 2 spoons of sugar, so 2 kilos of sugar. You have to express the quantity, the same with the salt. Now, what happens with bread? In Chile, we say, me da 2 panes batidos. But internationally, it doesn't exist. You take the bread, that it's something big, like the cheese, it's something big that you have to cut. You cut it in loaves. So you say a loaf of bread. And what do you count is the loaf of bread, or the kilo, or half a kilo of bread. The same happens with any liquids that you can consume. For example, the milk. Here is a glass of milk. It's a bottle of milk, a carton of juice, a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. You always have to put it in a container. You cannot express it by itself. Like, you don't say, I would like 2 milks. No. You say, I would like some milk. And then the person says, how much milk would you like? And you say, I would like 2 liters of milk, please. The same happens with meat, ham, cheese, and butter. They are all objects that you cannot count and you cannot pluralize. You use them with singulars. So if it is singular, you use it with there is, okay? There is some sugar on the table. There is, like it says in the video, there is some sugar, okay? There is a box of milk, and in this case, we say there is a box of milk because it's 1 box of milk. But here we are counting. We can use it as plural because we are counting the boxes. We can say there are 2 boxes of milk. Te fijas que ahí yo no estoy usando el plural en la leche, sino que estoy contando las cajas de leche. There are 3 boxes of milk. There are 3 liters of milk. There is a, is because it's 1 a. Let's look at more examples. There is a cup of dark coffee. You can say there are 2 cups of coffee. There are 3 cups of coffee because you count the cups. If you want to make it as a question, you say, is there any milk? Okay, so do you remember that we were writing in the chat? So you say, is, for the cheese, is there any cheese? To that question, you say, yes, there is some, if you have some. Or you say, no, there isn't any. So that means 0. And for example, if we are in a conversation, you call me on the phone and you say, is there any cheese? I say, yes, there is some. And you tell me, how much cheese is there? I say, there isn't much cheese. Why don't you buy some? Can you see the conversation? I'm going to put it in order here. So letter A is going to say, is there any cheese in the fridge? And letter B answers and replies, yes, there is some. Letter A says, but exactly how much cheese is there? And you answer, there isn't much. There isn't much. Why don't you buy some at the grocery shop? Can you see that? Oh, grocery shop. Sorry, my mistake. So as I was saying, here's the conversation. Is there any cheese in the fridge? Yes, there is some. How much cheese is there? There isn't much. Why don't you buy some at the grocery shop? Grocery is the place where you buy all the things that you need in a house. This is a grocery shop. Like in the video, remember that in the video we had a video about a grocery shop? It is this place where you buy desde el champú hasta 3 kilos de papa. So it is like a kiosk. No, it's bigger than that. El negocio del pueblo. That's a grocery shop. There are bigger ones like a mini market or small ones like in this case. From the neighborhood. Okay. Is it clear, Maximiliano? Okay. So what I want you to pay attention to is the conversation here. That is important. This is for situations like when you go shopping, okay, when you need something. So let's continue talking about this video, countables and uncountables. Is there any milk? Yes, there is a bottle of milk. For negative sentences, I don't have any ingredients. When you use any, you say zero. There isn't any. I don't have any. So that means zero. There is no food, also zero. There isn't any. For countable food, all these things are things that you can buy with 1, 2, like 2 bananas, 3 strawberries, 5 onions. Okay, you can count them. For example, there are 5 apples. Or if you don't want to say the exact number, you say there are some carrots or there are 3 carrots. Both are the same. And look at this question. When it is countable, you say how many tomatoes or tomatoes in American English. The recipe asks 3 tomatoes. So in this case, when we talk about countable things, we are going to talk about the tomatoes using the same conversation we have here. Okay, we are going to use the same conversation, but we are going to change everything with something countable. Okay? So something that is countable. Let's think about tomatoes. In the case of cheese, is there any cheese in the fridge, right? So now, are there any tomatoes in the kitchen? Are there any tomatoes in the kitchen? The answer with the cheese is yes, there is some. The answer with the tomato is yes. Yes, there are some. There are, because it's countable. Then the question here was with the cheese, how much cheese is there? The question with the tomatoes is how many tomatoes are there? ¿Cuántos tomates hay? Are there? The cheese is there isn't much. Why don't you buy some at the grocery shop? And in this case, is there aren't much. Why don't you buy some at the grocery shop? Oops. Okay, so let's see again. In the case of the cheese, it is there any cheese in the fridge? Yes, there is some. How much cheese is there? There isn't much. Why don't you buy some at the grocery shop? Are there any tomatoes in the kitchen? Yes, there are some. How many tomatoes are there? There aren't. Oh, there aren't many. So this is incorrect. There aren't many. Thank God I saw it. There aren't many. Why don't you buy some at the grocery shop? That is the correct form. Okay, so there aren't many is no hay muchos. Okay? So do you understand the difference between countables and uncountables in this case? Yes? Okay, perfect. So we can continue. As we were saying, in the Aula Virtual, you had to watch this video for countables and uncountables, and then you had a worksheet that you had to complete. My recommendation, do the worksheet if possible. But there is a mistake because it says that salt in the correction is countable, but salt is uncountable. Maximiliano, let's do together this activity. And I need you to be with the microphone, all right? Can you unmute your microphone now? Thank you. Look at activity number 3. It says countable or uncountable, much or many. You have to complete with much or many. Okay?
Okay.
But something that you need to keep in mind is that when you ask about the price of something, el cuánto cuesta siempre va a ser how much.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay, so let's try to identify. What is the first sentence? How water did you drink after running?
How much? No?
Yes, how much water, because water is a liquid and liquids are uncountables. Do you know how?
Many, no?
It is how many cakes are there, could it be? But it is about the cost.
Okay.
And
How much?
the cost is the price.
How much?
Yes. Are these oranges?
Many.
Oh, tampoco, también era el
No.
precio. Cuando tú dices, ¿cuánto cuesta esto? Tú dices, how much is this? Or how much are these?
Ah, pero se refiere en este caso al precio.
Al precio.
Ah, ya, okay.
Okay. Now look at this one.
Ah, ya, en este caso sí tendría que ser many, ¿no?
Exactly. How many oranges do you need? And?
Much, en este caso.
Yes, how much milk do you need? Es algo que tienes que prestarle atención en la prueba, porque yo voy a mezclar las preguntas de precio con las preguntas como las que vimos en el chat.
Ah, ok.
¿Ya?
Que no entendí lo del dis que se refería al precio de las naranjas.
Cuando sale la palabra cost, ya sabes que es precio.
Ah,
y
ok.
si no, cuando diga how much is this, mira, las opciones las voy a escribir acá, para precio. How much is lo que sea, uncountable, tiene que ser uncountable, es el precio. How much is the cheese? ¿Ok? ¿Cuánto cuesta el valor en general del queso? How much is this? ¿Cuánto cuesta esto? But if it is plural, it's how much are uncountable plural. So how much are the kilos of oranges? Okay, so but always how much for countables and uncountables. You say how much is for uncountable, how much are for countables plural. These, when you say these is singular. When you say these is for plural. That is the difference. So in this case is these oranges, because we're talking about the oranges in plural. Okay?
Okay.
Now, talking about Aula Virtual, do not forget that at the end of in Unit 6, you have different things. Aquí está la explicación. Aquí donde apretes en Unit 6, Shopping, están todas las carpetas. Ojo con eso. Bueno, hay una clase ahí y están todas las carpetas con el audio de la unidad, el libro, la gramática y el vocabulario de la unidad. All right?
Sí, lo había visto.
Excellent. So keep that in mind. What can you see in the vocabulary? You have everyday food. For example, the question that we have there in everyday food. It says, would you like some bread? Como el ejemplo que vimos en el video. Would you like some? And bread, remember, that is uncountable. I love sushi because I love rice. Pasta is good for you. Pasta is uncountable because it's a general word. That's why you use is. But don't eat too much. Don't eat too much. It means mucha. It's a negative sentence. That's why you use much. Much and many in negatives and questions. I always put salt on my chips, but not pepper. My sister never eats meat or fish. She's vegetarian. Do you take sugar in tea or coffee? As you can see, and these are some typical examples of expressions that you can use when you talk about food, everyday food. But also we have fast food. Okay, so for example, I eat hamburgers, hot dogs, and pizzas when I don't have much time. That is fast food. Fish and chips is the typical fast food of British people. It's popular in Britain, Australia, and New Zealand. Here you have fruit and vegetables. Look, vegetables are good for you. Vegetables are uncountable. Fruit is also good for you, but fruit is, that means that fruit is singular and uncountable. These are some examples of this food that you can see here with the pronunciation. I love fruit. You never say I love fruits because fruit is not countable. You can say I love vegetables. I love vegetables because vegetables is countable. But you never say I love fruits because fruit is uncountable. About drinks, this is some vocabulary for you. And tip, go to a supermarket. How many different kinds of food and drink have English names on them? Oh, there are many names that are in English. So when you finish looking at this, you will have to take a look at what we covered. This is finished about shopping in our unit. And if we go down, down, down in unit 6.2, that is today, we have some characteristics of some food, like for example, sweet, or some food that is good for you, some food that has a skin, round, that are good for you on a diet, high in carbohydrates and low in carbohydrates, etc. So what do we need to keep in mind here? That there are different kinds of fruit, unusual fruit like in the photos here, and that you can express preferences and give reasons to your preferences, like in the situations here, where you talk about the things that you prefer. Okay, so what are we going to be doing next class? Next class, we are going to be talking about expressing preferences and giving reasons. And that is going to be the end of this unit. Expressing preferences, giving reasons, because we are going to be talking about a situation in a restaurant. That would be the end of this unit. And then the following class, next week, is unit number 7. Okay, so this week we are going to be finishing with unit number 6. And that will be it for today. And I will see you next class. That is, if I'm not wrong, on Friday. Am I right? Yes, on Friday at 3:50. On Friday, we are going to be talking about expressing preferences and ordering a meal. Have you got another question, Maximiliano? Any doubts that we can have? I'm going to stop the recording now so you can ask me the questions. All right?